Shut up.
Shut up, phone. That necessary piece of technology I can't live without now.
Is it necessary, though?
Yes. Welcome to Movie Painter Pleasure. Why are you making that face? I can't do it when you make that face. Welcome to Movie Painter Pleasure podcast, the show that doesn't necessarily need to exist, much like the movie we're going to talk about. What are we talking about, AJ?
Another fucking Pinocchio.
Another fucking Pinocchio movie. And this is our first show of 2023. AJ, did you make any New Year's resolutions? And I didn't either. I could be one of those people like, I'm gonna drink less. But actually, speaking of drinking, I got this sweet skull mug here that AJ gave me, and he's literally filled up to his eye holes with mead from Juniper Tree Meadery in Arkansas. AJ's mother very kindly sent it to me for Christmas, so Patty, cheers, thank you. This stuff is good. A couple of days after opening it, it tastes like carbonated apple juice, which isn't a bad thing. It's good.
I mean, it's sweet.
I like it. It makes me feel like I'm in the hall with Beowulf and all those dudes waiting for Grendel to show up and wreak havoc.
Pinocchio versus Grendel.
I love Grendel. Grendel he would snap him in half and use him for firewood. Okay, God, let's get into this.
Okay. So, we're going to do this a little different. We're going to talk about pros.
There are actual pros to this movie.
They're more than I thought before we sat down. Cons, which is most of the movie, and just some random ideas and things that we got at the end.
That is our gift to you, our loyal watchers and listeners.
All right.
A little more structure. Okay, so this was released last year, 2022, and Guillermo Del Toro is known for doing kind of creepy, spooky things. He's done things with animation before. Some of the main characters, we had a lot of stars in this one. David Bradley was Geppetto, and he is Mr. Filch in the Harry Potter series, and he's also was Walder Frey.
That's a casting I would never have guessed. That
Filch and Walder Frey could be Geppetto.
Yeah, this sweet, nice old man.
I really liked him, though. He was probably the only character I really liked other than Cate Blanchett and Tilda Swinton, who are always terrifying. And Ewan McGregor as Sebastian the Cricket. And then Pinocchio was played by a young boy named Gregory Mann. So, other stars in it. John Turturro was in it. Christoph Waltz is in it. Tilda Swinton is in it. Don't get swayed by the star-studded cast.
That's the, actually, perfect reason to talk about fuck casting, like, big-name actors. Get voice actors again.
Yeah, get voice actors.
There are people who are made for this. Give them jobs. They're, especially when it's, like, characters that don't even have the real lines and shit.
Like the seagull in live-action Pinocchio. Did it need to be Lorraine Bracco?
One of those women that you listed was the fucking monkey that doesn't speak.
Oh, that's right.
It just makes noises.
I think that was Cate Blanchett?
Yeah.
Or that was somebody, yeah.
Anyway, we're supposed to be on pros.
No, okay, but that is a good sidebar because we like to watch a lot of animated things. And I've noticed over the years, other than maybe TV animation with movies, it's just been overtaken by celebrities, some of whom are very good voice actors.
Jack Black.
But yeah, but they've taken it over. It's like when you look at old fashion magazines from the 70s, there were models on the cover. I'm gonna cough. I got crap in my throat. I have to drink some mead. Sorry. I'm trying to make my point.
This movie's trying to murder somebody.
It's a curse from the Blue Fairy. No, you look at fashion magazines from the 70s, and it's models. It's supermodels on the cover. Because they're selling clothes and makeup. And now, every fucking fashion magazine has a celebrity on it. They're not professional models. I still have that frog in my throat. Okay. I'm done with my rant. Hire voice actors.
Yeah, and
Anime does it.
And then we wouldn't spend like 10 minutes trying to figure out what we've heard that person in before.
I know, because that's always like, oh my god, this is killing me. And so we're always on our phones trying to figure it out. All right. You want to jump into the pros?
I don't remember any of them. Geppetto. Geppetto's good.
I wrote it down.
Well, yeah, but you wrote it. I didn't.
Okay, well,
Geppetto is good.
Talk about that.
Geppetto was cool. He had a really sad backstory that I actually mostly appreciated. I don't know if it needed to be during World War II.
That's something we'll get into a little bit later.
It takes over a big chunk of... Anyway. But his relationship with his actual son and how sad that was, and his the one song that was worthwhile.
It was very sweet.
That's the only reason. It wasn't like I really want to hear that again. It was very nice.
It was really sweet. It added some good backstory, and throughout the movie, he did a good job as far as voice acting goes. I don't know why the main characters were British, while we had, I mean, I kind of get a German or an Austrian like Christoph Waltz, but other characters were Italian. Some sounded British. Can we just agree on one accent for the
Ron
movie?
Perlman just being American.
Yeah, just Ron Perlman, just being Ron Perlman.
Which I do not want Ron Perlman with an accent.
No.
Don't make him...
I get the feeling like he can't do accents.
If he did, it would have to be something really aggressive. Like Russian or Cockney.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going with the pros. So Geppetto, played by David Bradley, was really good. Better than Tom Hanks in the live action one. Fuck you, Tom Hanks. You ruined it. Okay. The pro. It accurately represents how god-awful annoying Pinocchio really is. And this is more true to the original story.
Which this is a pro and a con.
Both.
Because he... Okay, in the, like... The golden... standard is 1940 Pinocchio. That Pinocchio, he was fine. He was like curious and he sort of did things, but he was real gullible. And it was more of that. It was more he's gullible. Mm-hmm. This one is like legitimately, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. I want to do everything, good and bad, and I want to destroy things. I don't want to make things. I don't want to fucking screw everything up. I want to insult people. Like, he's fucking insane. So, it's more accurate. It's a little annoying. So...
A little. I got a text from my mom saying, like, I'm 10 minutes in and I'm going to slap Pinocchio.
Yeah, okay, it's really annoying.
Okay, number 3 as a pro is Christoph Waltz as the character Count Volpe, who, if you've seen the 1941 from Pinocchio, it's the character named Stromboli, which is problematic and somewhat racist.
But he is... I'm pretty sure the name is Stromboli or something very similar in the book.
I don't think it's Stromboli.
I swear it's something very similar.
It'd be like having a Mexican character named Taco.
So the dude was Italian. He could make that happen. There was something similar.
Okay,
anyway, whatever.
So he was basically the Stromboli character, and he was very much a fast talker and played in a completely different way. And Christoph Waltz is good in everything. So I actually liked him. And that was one of the ones that was killing me. I could not figure out who the voice actor was. Okay. Here's another one. Pinocchio at church making shit talking Jesus, basically.
That was really funny.
That was really funny. So explain that.
So it was nice. One, it was nice to see Geppetto working on things that weren't just like, clocks. I make a fuckload of clocks. Like, he does make clocks, but he does other things. He's also a drunk, which is a like depressing but makes sense addition.
He was like a falling down drunk, not just
and
sipping some mead.
He builds the church a crucifix the size of a wall, and Pinocchio is supposed to be helping him, and he's just like, why do they love that guy? He's wood, I'm wood. Why don't they love me? Like, you're not Jesus? I mean, Jesus might have been like Pinocchio, all-powerful at the age of 2, but...
What if he was just like, what's this? I can do this. I can do this. And his mom's like, shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
I mean, Jesus did kill his best friend, so...
And he smote a fig tree. So, Pinocchio and Jesus their Venn diagrams may cross. All right. Another pro is that it shows the ramifications of bringing a wooden puppet to life in a way that the Disney one does not. Because the Disney one's just kind of cute and endearing and all this. This is like a demon has possessed this pen has come to life. And now it wants to do all the things.
Yeah, people just flat out think he's a demonic entity and shit.
Wouldn't you? Well, he looks terrifying.
He does. He does look really fucking scary.
He looks terrifying. I mean, it looks like a guy just took a chunk. And he did. He kind of hate-made the puppet because...
Yeah, he made it out of the tree that his son grew.
No, he planted it by his grave.
Okay.
He planted the tree by his son's grave, a pine tree. And he's like, fuck this tree. Chops it down. Why do you live and my son doesn't? So he makes the puppet.
His son was supposed to plant it. He's the one that had the pine cone.
Ah, that's right. He had a pine cone. So. Okay, I actually like the backstory with the son, and the blue fairy brings him to life, and chaos ensues. So this one shows the ramifications of bringing an inanimate object to life.
That makes me notice something. one of the problems with the movie, I know this isn't con territory right now, but I'll forget, that it doesn't have the weird, like, everything is sort of insane quality of the original story. Like, just a fox and a cat walking around swindling people that can speak and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, there's Sebastian. I'll talk about that later. Who's a talking cricket. And there is magic. There's a blue fairy. But the rest of the movie doesn't have a lot of those, like...
magical realism
things
type
that
of
would
things.
make you go, like... like, it doesn't have the irony of a talking fox going, what the fuck is that? Because he's the only really strange thing in the movie, which I think is actually an issue. So, that made me discover that.
Okay, we're going into... I got two more pros that I don't think were part of the original story, but they deal with kind of existential supernatural things, and I'm all about that shit. So there's... in this movie, Pinocchio dies several times, and he goes to kind of this weird... I don't know if it's necessarily an afterlife so much as an in-between. And he's carried in a casket by these rabbits who were smoking cigarettes and stuff. And he talks to this creature who is the sister of the blue fairy, and she has an hourglass, and she says, every time you have to wait longer to go back to the human world. And he kind of uses that time, I don't think he even realizes it, to figure things out and to solve problems and maybe to learn some life lessons.
It's interesting. I will accept it.
It's very interesting. I love things about the afterlife. Very creative things, beyond just fires in hell and clouds in heaven. What are some really creative things people do around death and the afterlife?
When I was watching the movie and it started to happen, some parts I thought were interesting about that, and then others it bothered me. Although right off the top of my head, I can't say. But by the end of the movie, I liked the weird underworld rules and shit because it gives us a really fucked up ending.
It does, and that's actually a pro. The ending is pretty heartbreaking. Pinocchio dies for one life. It basically makes a sacrifice, and he is given life. He's given mortality. So he's not made a real boy, but he is given a mortal life, but he still outlives all the people who are important to him. So Geppetto and friends he makes along the way, Candlewick, they all die. And so I think maybe that's part of being human, is loving other people and having to lose them.
But we don't know, like, he might live so long that he just has to commit to killing himself. Like, he can die again, and if he dies again, which the rules about how he dies is a little sporadic. Like, I don't know if you hit him hard enough in the head that it would kill a normal human. Will it kill him? Because he's made out of wood. But he's also exploded at different points, and that's how he dies. But, okay, whatever. Still, keeping with the theme of the book, really fucked up ending. He just has to keep on living like fucking Bicentennial Man, and before he got turned into a real man.
Maybe is Pinocchio the man from Earth? Oh my god!
Oh god, that'd be an annoying version of Man from Earth.
Yeah, never mind.
Anyway,
okay,
so
those were the pros.
That was a good ending.
It was a good ending. It was sad.
It gave us something new, but it didn't bullshit us like the live action Disney remake, which was like, oh, we don't know if he turned into a boy. Who gives a shit?
Just love yourself, who is who you are.
Fuck
that movie. Fuck you, Tom Hanks. I'm gonna take away your consecutive Oscars.
Because Tom Hanks is the reason that movie turned out the way it did.
You did that all in a day? Okay, let's talk about the cons. Number one, Pinocchio singing nonstop. I mean, the child has it. Whoever actually did the singing, nice, pretty voice, but fuck, it was annoying.
All the songs. This should not have been a musical. It didn't have to be a musical. And just because Geppetto gets a song doesn't mean the whole movie has to be a musical. He could have just had a song.
People sing songs in real life. It doesn't mean it's musical.
He's a dad.
My dad sang a song to us called Milk is Good for You. He played guitar and everything because I hated milk. So he sang it, I guess, to convince us that milk is good for you. Da-da-da-da.
What a narc. Anyway,
I still remember it.
So... Yeah, all the songs are fucking annoying. They're not catchy. You're not gonna compete with Disney, and this movie specifically felt like it didn't want to compete with Disney. Like in certain ways, they're like, we're calling our cricket Sebastian, because damn it, he's different. He's Sebastian J. Cricket, who sucks, by the way. He's very boring, but if you want to differentiate, why would you also make it a musical?
Yeah.
What? Don't go down that road. You're gonna lose. And it's not even like the original Pinocchio had a fuckload of good songs.
Not really.
I mean,
that was before they started making all of their animated things musicals.
I mean,
When You Wish
Upon a Star is a huge thing.
And that was
are there any other songs in there? Hi diddly dee.
Yeah.
There's life for me.
I
That's
got
like
no strings.
it.
I got no strings. Yeah.
Okay. It's not a banger, but it is catchy.
It is catchy.
And it's great for the story. We always end up just complimenting the 40 version.
Yeah, okay. So, because,
Anyway.
when we did our review, which you can watch or listen to on the Disney remake, we just ended up talking about all the great things from the 1941. Okay, the next two things are, it was an interesting addition, and I thought it was a missed opportunity. It takes place during World War II with fascism and Mussolini. And I was interested, especially as an Italian American, I don't know much about Italy's role in World War II. Like, were they like little Germany wannabes? And they were like, we don't want to play too. And they tried to bomb people and it didn't really work out. And so I really don't know much. And they didn't really do much to further my knowledge of Italy's role in World War II, other than fascism was a thing, and they were trying to conscript young boys. So his friend Candlewick gets into it. They conscript Pinocchio into the Italian army, and it shows it basically. I guess the message was it was a loss, like it was a death trap.
Like war is bad. Okay.
But Mussolini was. I like when they make fun of character, like Hitler and stuff. But they made him like this little tiny guy, and they'd pick him up and everything, and he was really dumb. Which you could do that well, but I've seen it done better in a Three Stooges episode where Moe played Hitler or something.
Yeah, it was very quick.
It was really quick.
It was just in there, so they maybe had something where they're like, yeah, we don't like Mussolini. Because the movie, it sets up that it's World War II, Geppetto says war is bad, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
There's not really, they don't explore.
It's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like Baz Luhrmann's Elvis. I didn't come out of it learning anything new about Elvis, and it's not like Pinocchio really needs to be my lesson in Italy's role in World War II, but we were talking about this earlier.
That's what Hitalia is for.
It's not a part of our cultural consciousness. We know about Japan, we know about Germany. What was Italy doing?
Hitalia taught me is that Italy is a whiny little bitch that likes to suck up and hide behind Germany.
That's basically what Mussolini did until his own people strung him up like a piece of meat and killed him and his whole family.
You mean like a puppet?
Oh shit! Okay, moving on. Another con: no Fox and Cat.
No. Why?
No Honest John.
Why?
No, he was not called Honest John in the original story, but he did exist.
No, yeah, and he was pretty accurately represented in the Disney film, although he did a couple of different things, but fine.
He was funny.
There was no Fox and Cat. There was no Field of Miracles. There was... we almost got that thing where Pinocchio smashes Sebastian, Jiminy, but he doesn't die, so that wasn't cool. I want him to die.
That's actually the next thing I was going to bring up was the fucking cricket, man.
But wait. Okay. Before we get to the cricket, I just want to reiterate, I don't know why they made such a big deal about this is a different movie. We don't have Stromboli, we have
Count Volpe.
Some guy. And this guy has a monkey that fetches things. I don't know. But they were like, there was one thing they really couldn't let go, and then the rest of it, they're like, we're going to be different. Except it was just unnecessary shit. Like,
Mussolini.
I will take Fox and Cat, do something more like the original book, or come up with some new tricks or something, but keep them in there. That's way more interesting. Have them part of the army or the military or something. instead of just Ron Perlman just being Ron Perlman.
Yeah, he was Candlewick's dad, and he was just kind of no fun. So can I talk about the cricket
Yes,
now?
now we can go
Oh
on
my god.
with the cricket.
Okay, so there's a cricket. His name is Sebastian. Now, you've read the original story. Was he named Jiminy in the original?
Yeah, his name
Okay,
is Jiminy.
his name is Jiminy. And he's Ewan McGregor, he's fine, but he's annoying. The only thing I like about this character is he always tries to start singing, and he gets, like, whacked by a door or falls off something, and so they never let him have a song. I thought that was funny. Other than that, he was just a pretentious writer who was annoying.
He was like, I'm going to write my biography. And who gives a shit? You're a cricket. But,
I mean, I wrote a memoir.
well, that's different. You're a human.
I'm not, probably a memoir by a cricket would be more interesting.
Actually, it might be. Mm-hmm. Talks about how he used to hang out with locusts in Egypt. So, he's just... Okay, one thing I liked about him. Fucking Pinocchio has an actual hollow in his chest. Mm-hmm. And Jiminy,
that's where
Sebastian
he
lives in there. I'm like, that's good. That makes sense.
It's kind of like his heart. So he's his conscience.
Yeah, and it works with the medium of, claymation or whatever, stop motion. So that was one good thing. Everything else, he's very boring. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, original, good, best version of Jiminy. Okay, what the book has going for it is that motherfucker dies and comes back as a ghost doctor cricket. He's part of the crew that found Pinocchio in a tree and was like, I think we can fix him, but he was a ghost. So he's a ghost Dr. Cricket. So that's something going for him. And the 40s Jiminy was, yes, he was all about, like, do the right thing, Pinocchio. But he was also a poonhound.
I was gonna say poonhound. See, this is why we're soulmates. I was thinking of the word poonhound, and you said poonhound.
Okay.
That's one for the ages, kids.
That's a weird reason.
This is true love here.
But he is.
The first time he sees the blue fairy, he goes, "Oh, a blue fairy! What you gonna do, Jiminy? Fuck you!"
And he whistles at the fucking. The fixtures and the clocks and shit. And,
slapping their asses.
Yeah.
God.
He's a poonhound. The entire
the fish are trying to hit on him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, see, we're talking about the 1940s one again. Okay.
So anyway,
I've got
this one is boring
Yeah,
as
he
fuck.
sucks. All right. Okay. No, I'll save that question for the end. Okay. Oh, God. So when Mussolini comes to watch the big show, Pinocchio sings a song about poop. It's so stupid. And I get why they did it. He wanted to sabotage the show because he was like, fuck Mussolini.
But he could have been more clever.
But it was about poop. It was poop.
It was
gross.
It was quick. I was like, I don't even understand how they're
Why?
equating this to Mussolini.
So there was poop in this one. And there was poop in the new Disney live-action remake.
You know what you won't find in the original Pinocchio movie?
Poop. You won't find poop. Okay.
I don't know. What was common denominator bullshit?
Shit, literally.
Continuing.
Right. Geppetto's nonchalance towards warfare.
Yeah. This movie doesn't, like... Okay, the only thing showing that the fascist Nazi party was bad is Ron Perlman's a dick, and he tries to make his son shoot Pinocchio in the face, even though Pinocchio won't die, so it doesn't really affect the story. And Mussolini's dumb. That's it. At one point, Geppetto says, "Oh, war's bad," and that's it. He doesn't say, I like the Jews. He doesn't ever.
Maybe we shouldn't oppress them. So
I mean, I don't
do that.
I don't need it to also be like uber
political,
yeah. Exactly, but you put it in the movie.
Yeah, if you put it in the movie, you gotta do something other than singing a song about fucking poop. Okay, next to last one. There was no Pleasure Island and no turning into a donkey.
Yeah, which this medium would have been cool to see.
Yeah,
like how freaky it could have gotten.
Creepy. The whole afterlife death stuff was freaky.
Yeah, that stuff was cool. But Pleasure Island, I think, is a way bigger part of Pinocchio's story than the fucking circus.
Mm-hmm.
If you can only have one, you can keep the same character. He was an interesting character. He looked insane.
Well, arguably, there's more peril with the outcome of Pleasure Island.
Yeah, and he has more chances to show his just terrible choices in general. Like, fuck.
He was doing what I was doing on Sunday, playing pool and drinking beer.
That whore. He was just...
What?
Not you, him.
Okay.
No, when you... Fuck. I'm just gonna have to bleep that spot so everyone's confused. Because I don't want to misinsinuate anything. But fucking Pinocchio's a dick, okay? Like, that was the point of the joke.
I'm sorry I ruined your joke.
Ooh.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, the last con of this movie is that it dragged and meandered. I mean, a lot of things happened, but it was too many things.
And yet...
It just dragged.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Because it feels like there's really only two big things, and that's circus, war, kinda.
And then Leviathan at the very end, man.
Yeah, and then a Leviathan, which they were like... What if it had tentacles? And I don't care. I don't.
Whatever.
The way he killed it was interesting.
That was cool.
He blew that motherfucker up. Like,
he used his last extra life or whatever.
Yeah, his last mushroom.
Yeah, the last green mushroom.
So that was interesting, I guess. But that felt like that was sewn up really quick. Like, as soon as he got in there. Oh, okay. Motherfucker! I almost forgot. Another big con. You know how... Some of you don't know because you didn't watch it, but maybe some of you did. If you watched our last Pinocchio episode, we bitched a lot about Pinocchio's moral story, whatever. Where they were like, we're going to have him lie on purpose, and so his nose will grow so we can use it. The whole point of his nose growing is that he shouldn't fucking lie. And then in this one too, the exact same problem. Which, it's almost like, the two things towards the end, it's almost like they saw stuff from the Disney Pinocchio and like, we're using that. Because there was this and there was one other thing I'll talk about in a sec. He lies to create a branch to go to, like, the blowhole of the whale.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, they did the fire thing, but it didn't really work the same way, I think. And so they were like, blowhole. We'll get him to sneeze us out. Okay, it was really fucking nasty. I would have preferred if they just did the achoo. But, okay, it has to be different. Fine. But, does he have to fucking lie? Just figure out something else. Maybe if he had strings that didn't connect to anything, he could have, like, nah. I don't give a shit what you come up with, but stop changing the moral of the story with telling Pinocchio it's awesome to lie, because you can just make this giant thing. Which, I mean, I'm gonna use that in my own version of the story, but that'll be totally different. Totally different reason. Anyway.
And what was the other thing that they stole from the Disney live action remake?
This is a small thing, but it was very strange. Almost shot for shot. There's this thing that was really dumb in Pinocchio live action remake where he grabbed a piece of wood that Geppetto was on and like used his feet like a motorboat.
Going in a circle. They're trying to escape Monstro. The Leviathan.
The exact same thing happened, but the only difference was it was a monkey.
Oh, the monkey did it? It wasn't Pinocchio?
It was just a monkey paddling. Monkeys can't... Well... Some monkeys can get in water. It's apes that generally can't. They're too dense. They'll die. Anyway. It was just... They were so similar. It was like someone was fucking in there watching it. It's like Thief and the Cobbler and Aladdin. Like, there were just some things that were so similar. It was weird. But, again... Anyway, doesn't matter. Alright. That's all I had to say about that.
Okay, well, that's the end of the cons. So let me ask you, question time. Was it better or worse than Disney's live-action remake?
Way better. They at least tried.
Way better.
They tried something.
Agree.
Some of it didn't work.
All right.
I'm adamant about that. But
it was better.
Yeah.
And we haven't even seen the live action Italian version yet, but I'm assuming that's going to be better than Disney's live action remake.
I don't regret this one.
No.
So I was a little disappointed, but I don't regret it.
No, because it was different. Now I want to go learn about Italy's role in World War II. So, okay. Next question. What from the original story should have been in this movie? You said one of them already. The Field of Miracles.
Yeah. My favorite thing that I would love to see represented is Pinocchio just flat out murdering the cricket. In the book, he just, like, and I think it explains, like, he doesn't mean to do it. He was just sort of, like, throwing shit, being angry. But he was throwing him at the cricket. He just didn't mean to hit him consciously. Maybe he hit him subconsciously. Smash that motherfucker with a hammer. Look, there's fucked up shit in children's movies all the damn time. This one has him dying over and over and coming back to life. That's kind of fucked up. You couldn't put in the thing. They had no problem smashing the shit out of him the whole movie. I think it would have been just as good and funnier if the first time it killed him, and then he was a spirit, and he was like, what the fuck? and then he would have to, like, think about what he's doing for his memoir thing or biography, because now he's dead. So, is that part of it, or isn't it? Okay. Before you go on to whatever you got written there. we saw Christoph Waltz in something else quite recently, and I would like to see this version of Pinocchio in it. Most Dangerous Game.
Which was really the Running Man?
Yeah! I almost want to make a video on that just because you fuckers tried to get public domain shit and not pay Stephen King. Because it was more of the Running Man.
So anyway, what about Christoph Waltz?
I just think it would be funny, because Christoph Waltz is in both of these films, to see this psycho version of Pinocchio that's just, like, destroying shit left and right, to be the hunted.
In the Most Dangerous Game?
Yeah.
He'd fuck people up.
He would, like, he would get in such a confusing conversation with that guy that was from Africa.
Oh, the Nigerian guy?
Yeah. Cause
the psychologist?
Yes. Because he'd be trying to figure him out, and he'd just, like, I don't know. Like, whatever. Because he just got created. And he couldn't die, so who would win?
So he's like Forky, just asking infuriating questions.
The whole time.
The whole time. Okay, so something else you said earlier is what should be in the movie. One was the Field of Miracles, which I don't know what that is. So
the Field of Miracles is the place where the fox and the cat told Pinocchio to take his gold coins and plant to make it.
Oh, so it would grow
gold tree
into money. Okay, and the other thing was, you said in the original one, Pinocchio bit off the cat's paw.
Yeah. There was no cat and fucking fox in this, but yeah, in the original story, all this stuff could have gone in here. I was hoping this would be the one that, like, did all the things, but he flat out bites one of their hands off because they were beating the shit out of him and, like, trying to put him in a hood, and he was like, ah.
Okay.
And then they come back into the story later, and they just have to, like, cover up the stump and pretend that didn't happen.
Wow. Okay, so last question. Was this too weird or not weird enough?
I think not weird enough.
Yeah, watch that line where it's like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm also bored.
Yeah, I need it all the way. Like, almost no sense, but it has sense in itself. Mm-hmm. Like, the people involved in it know that, like, oh yeah, well, almost like Alice in Wonderland. Well, of course it goes upside down.
Well, yeah, whatever. I mean, of course it is.
Kind of like that. Like, it doesn't really make sense to us, but it's just the way it is. Go all the way with that and all the ideas. Once you put, like, a really real world thing like World War II in there, and Pinocchio and the cricket are kind of the only really weird things outside of the Blue Fairy herself, it's just...
What's the point?
Yeah, you wasted it.
Okay.
Is that the last thing?
That's the last question. We've got 2 recommendations. What are you going to say?
This is one of the recommendations, and I want to talk about how it handled being a movie based on a book that is very famous for a Disney adaptation.
Okay, go ahead.
That is Mowgli, It's awesome. We have a whole episode on all of the Jungle Book movies. I think pretty much all of them. There was one that I think was black and white
It was
originally.
from the 40s.
And
Which was awesome. That's one of my favorites.
it's really good. The 91, the Disney live action remake, and Mowgli. And the thing Mowgli did is it didn't decide like we got to make up new things because Disney's version's so big and we don't want to be copying Disney even though there's an original source. They used pieces that were not in the Disney version and also added some from, I believe, the sequel book. So it stayed to the heart of the original story, did its own thing. It was more serious, which is what I wanted, and it's fucking awesome. So that's what this one should have done. Ignore the Disney one, base it off the original story, and don't try to go like, well, how are we going to make ours different? Just make it interesting.
Follow the source material.
And, add some edginess, like Mowgli just being a fucking gangster and be like, I'll show you the man that did this.
Oh, I know. That's exactly what I was thinking of. He meets a hunter who has taken an elephant's tusk, and he goes to the elephant. He's like, I'll take you to the hunter who did this to you. And
So good.
Oh my god. Okay. So Mowgli, it's always on. It's a Netflix film directed by Andy Serkis. It's always on there. The other recommendation is the original Disney Pinocchio from 1940.
Always.
Classic.
It's so good.
So good.
I didn't have like a big nostalgia feeling for it. Like I had it, but as an adult, I didn't until we rewatched it.
Oh, love
recently.
it. There's not a wasted moment. No,
It's
we talk about it.
perfect.
It is. We talk about it more in our hate watch version of the live action remake with Tom Hanks.
You can't not because
Yeah.
they're like, it's like you gave a professional artist and a 5-year-old a paintbrush and you made them copy a person sitting in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, draw this person in front of you. And, like, technically it's the same, but one's awful because it's a dumb 5-year-old who hasn't
Thinks poop jokes are
who
funny.
hasn't learned motor functions, and an adult who has way too much experience. So that's like Pinocchio remake versus the original.
Yeah. So if you want to hear us talk about the Jungle Book and other versions of Pinocchio, you can follow us on Twitch, Discord, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, and on Instagram at Movie Pain or Pleasure Podcast. Join our cult, be my victim, and tell me lies, sweet little lies.
That's kind of terrifying.
It's from a Fleetwood Mac song.